Hi, my name is Linda Cirulli-Burton, and welcome to this channel named Above the Battleground, ACIM. Above the Battleground is based on the teachings of a spiritual self-study path known as A Course in Miracles. I've been a student of A Course in Miracles since 1992, and recently have felt the urge, the desire to share some of the lessons, insights, inspiration of A Course in Miracles. The purpose was to have this go deeper within me and hopefully to be of some benefit to you. So, welcome to part 2 of me struggling with the concept of illusion. Now, illusion is integral to A Course in Miracles, and I find that I believe in it, even though that sounds weird. I have faith in this non-existent concept, but I have a hard time coming to grips with it. So I thought that I would spend a little time trying to understand. So I happened to find a website called interestingengineering.com. And this is what I learned. Every human on planet Earth is made up of millions and millions of atoms, which all are 99% empty space. Actually, I'm going to tell you, in other areas, I've read 99.9999999%. But if you were to remove all the empty space contained in every atom in every person on planet Earth and compress us all together, then the overall volume of our particles would be smaller than a sugar cube. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, that actually made me laugh out loud. Anyway, the introduction to A Course in Miracles says this: nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. So, real versus unreal, truth versus illusion. And of course, I had to look up yet again definition of illusion because it varies. And this time I found a falsehood, an image, or impression that deceives the mind or senses. Now, I want to move from there to the fact that A Course in Miracles has an origin story that is illusory. First, I would like to say that many groups have origin stories. The Pueblo peoples, for example, believe that they come from the womb of Mother Earth and were called into the sunlight by Father Sun. And then I told you that I was going to at times incorporate stories that I love from history, and one of them would be ancient Rome and the origin stories. Now, the origin stories in ancient Rome, just please be patient with me because I just, I do love this stuff. Anyway, there's two strains. One of the strains would say that Aeneas, a hero from the Trojan War, in fact, himself a Trojan, in Homer's Iliad, will undertake a journey. This is written up in Virgil's Aeneid. He will undertake a journey whereby he will reach the peninsula of Italy and form a new dynasty, be the beginnings of a great new civilization, which would be Rome. So that was one of the stories, Aeneas making his way to Italy. Another one of the strains of the origin stories was the story of a pair of twins, Romulus and Remus, who were put on the Tiber River and found, or I should say, a she-wolf found them, suckled them, and Romulus grew up to be the first king of Rome. So the way that the ancient Romans combined these two threads was by saying that Romulus and Remus were descendants, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years descendants from Aeneas. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, the origin story for A Course in Miracles is also pretty cool and can come across as pretty crazy. So imagine, if you will, that there is pulsating love and abundance, and no separation, union, God the Father with God the Son of God, Christ. All is beautiful. And then into eternity, where all is one, there crept the tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. And basically, that is the origin story, that the Son of God broke off from God the Father, usurping the power of God and running away, running. That was the sin. Filled with guilt that they had run from God, taken from God, and then the fear of retribution. Now, what's fascinating in this origin story is that not one note in heaven was lost. Basically, A Course in Miracles will tell you, you never left God the Father. You never did. But we think we did. So the mind, we perceive this illusion, this dream. We broke off, we think. And then we created this ego world filled with different bodies, trillions of forms, separation, divisiveness, craziness, wildness. And you know what's really fascinating is that most of us go through life feeling that we are at the effect of everything that hits us, whether it is a disease or an accident to our body, whether or not somebody does something awful to our physical bodies or our psychological bodies. We go through these lives feeling that externals are doing this to us. Well, what I really learned from A Course in Miracles and from Gary Renard in The Disappearance from the Universe, which really drove the lesson home, is that in fact I am not at the effect of everything out there. I made a deal with the ego mind that felt it had broken off from God. I made a deal. God doesn't make deals, but I made a deal, my ego mind. And together, this creation with the ego mind, I'm the one that put those things out there. I'm the one that put the disease out there, put the human being out there that was supposed to hurt me, made sure that that rock fell on me. What? It seems so crazy. But if you consider the fact that in this illusion where I believe that I committed the sin of turning on God and taking from God, and then the guilt that would come from doing what I did and the fear of retribution. So why wouldn't I create this world with my ego mind? If that happens to me, I'm innocent. You're the guilty one. That disease, look at me. I was just minding up and this happened to me. Never underestimate the desire to feel innocent of what we believe unconsciously to be horrible, something horrible. And the fascinating thing, yet again, is that this didn't happen. Not a single note in heaven was lost. And I want to conclude by saying that Gary Renard's The Disappearance of the Universe, I read it multiple times when it came out in 2002, and I am rereading it now, and it's so fascinating how it's the same way, of course, with A Course in Miracles, that you read and then you read more, because this is lifelong journey. This is a lifelong journey. And it goes in deeper and deeper every time you read. I know it is that way with A Course in Miracles for me, and it is equally that way with Gary Renard's books. And let me just say, if you have not had an opportunity to read The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard, and we'll have a slide at the end of this so that you can perhaps order this from Amazon, do something, get this book. It can change your life. And for me, it helped catalog me. Anyway, that word, into a deeper and deeper understanding of A Course in Miracles. So I want to conclude this lesson with more or less the way that I started it. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And I tell you that in a follow-up sharing, I want to talk about forgiveness. What is truly meant by forgiveness, and how it is the key out of the ego mind, out of the wrong mind, key to getting to the Holy Spirit and Jesus. Thank you for joining me.